Alright, 5th grade, this is the second video. And remember, we're doing 7.9. So the first way that we learned was to make a model. The second way we're going to do is just using our numbers to solve this fraction equation, this expression. So remember, we are still working with 1/3 times 1 and 1/4. So if we go over here to our problem here, we have 1/3 times 1 and 1/4. This 1, if you remember, is 1 whole. And if we were to make it into a fraction, it would just be 4/4. Now you might ask, where did you get this 4? Well, if we look over here at this denominator, it's 4. See here? So that means this 1 is 4. It needs 4 fraction parts to make it 1 whole. So it needs 4 fraction parts to make it 1 whole. Okay? Because it's 4/4. Because the denominator here is 4. With that being said, we're going to take this 4 here and lump it into this 1. Okay? So it's no longer, so 4 here plus the 1 is going to make this 5/4. And this whole is canceled out now. So we have an improper fraction here, 5/4. And because we took the whole and made it into an improper fraction. So then we're going to, when we change it, it's 1/3 times 5/4. Now you guys should recognize this here. When you see this, that just means you're going to multiply across. So 1 times 5 is what? 5. 3 times 4 is what? 12. So far our answer is 5/12. Now if we go back up here, where we used a model and we broke apart these holes so that we would shade in 1/3 of the part. Now our answer for this one was 5/12. And that's our answer for this one as well, 5/12. So 1/3 times 1 and 1/4 is 5/12. Alright, let's do another example. Flip your page from 325, and we are going to do page 326. So example number 1, we are going to rename the whole number, and that means we're going to take the whole number and make it into an improper fraction. So first, let's read this. Multiply 12 times 2/16. Write the product in simplest form. Step 1. Determine how the product will compare to the greater factor. Factor. Let's ignore those steps. Okay, let's look over here. We have 12 times 2/16. Now what this is saying here is saying you have 2 wholes that are equivalent to 6/6. Now you might ask, where did you get that 6? Well, if you look over here, our denominator is 6. So this is saying we have 1 whole that is 6/6. We have a fraction whole that's 6/6. But it's not just 1, we have 2 now. We have 2 fraction wholes that are 6/6. Now again, where did I get the 6? Well, the denominator in our fraction over here is 6. Therefore, these wholes are made up of 6 fractional parts. With that known, 6 plus 6 would be 12/6. Plus this 1 would make it actually 13/6. Now, where did I get the extra 1? Well, don't forget this guy. There's 1, and we added it to that 13. Make sure you're copying everything I write on this, guys. So, if we look at the broader picture, it should be 12/1 times 13/6. We got 13 when we converted these 2 wholes into their fraction parts, and we added the 1 to it. Okay, then we're going to just multiply across. So it's 12 times 13 is what? Well, if you go up here, you do 12 times 13. You could go ahead and pause the video and try to solve this by yourself. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 1 is 3. Now that we're done with multiplying the ones, we're going to multiply the tens now. So when we start the new section, we're going to start multiplying tens. So we got to put a 0. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 1 is 1. 6 plus 0 is 6. 5, 1. 156 is 12 times 13 over 6. Now, this would be 156 over 6. Now, what kind of a fraction is this? It's an improper fraction. So when you have an improper fraction, you're going to divide, okay? You are going to use the box method. You do not use division if you have to simplify. If it was 4 over 6, you would simplify. You would not divide. You only divide if the top number is bigger than the bottom number. If the numerator is bigger than the denominator. All right. So we're going to put 6 outside the box and 156 in the box. Can 6 fit into 1? No. So we multiply by 0. 1 goes in the bottom. 1 goes to the top. Can 6 fit into 15? It can. It won't fit in perfectly, but it can. 6 times what, though? 6 times 2. Because 6 times 2 is 12. If we did 6 times 30, it would be 18, and that's too big. 5 minus 2 is 3. 1 minus 1 is 0. Bring the 3 up. Can 6 fit into 36? Yes, it can. 6 times 6 is 36. We have no remainder. When you have no remainder, that means there's no fraction whole. There's not going to be any fractions. It's just going to be a whole number. So our answer is 26. That's it. That's all you have to do for this. 26 is your answer. I'm going to ignore those steps because... So 12 times 2 over 6 is 26. I'm pretty sure I'm correct. No. If you guys heard my dog barking earlier, that's because he's dumb. And he just likes to bark at random stuff. Yeah, this is correct, 26. I just had to check the book to see if I was right. And it says 26. So, yep. So those are the steps so far. I don't think I'm going to go through this one. But here's what you're going to do now. You're going to turn to page 327. And you are going to do 1 through 16. Okay? 1 through 16 is what you're going to do. Now, if you're confident about this, you can... Actually, no, I want you to watch the first... Keep watching for a little bit, and then I will let you go, okay? Let's do number 1. If you want to do this by yourself, go ahead and... don't shut the computer off, but you can pause the video and do it. But you have to keep watching the video a little bit longer after this, okay? So I'm going to go over this. So when we have mixed numbers and we're multiplying, That means we have to convert the whole number. We have to change it back into its fractional form. So this is 1 whole. So that means we have 1 3 over 3. Now where did I get the 3? I got the 3 from the denominator here. And we only do this one time because we have only 1 whole. See? Only 1. So we only do it one time. So when we do that, we're going to take this 3, the top numerator, and add it to that here, to this 2, which is going to change it into 5 over 3. Now this one here is 3 wholes, and they're fractioned off into 5 parts. So that means you're going to convert this whole number back into their fraction forms, which is 5 over 5. How many times are we going to do this? 3 times. Plus 5 over 5 plus 5 over 5. Now where did we get the 5? Well, because the denominator is a 5, so therefore when we convert the whole numbers into their fraction forms, they just become 5 over 5. When we add fractions, we don't change the denominator. We will only be changing the numerator. 5 plus 5 plus 5 is 15. But we're not done because we have to add this 4 here. 15 plus 4 is 19. So we're going to go over here, and it's 19 over 5. Then we just multiply across. 19 times 5 is what? 9 times 5 is 45. So the top is 95 over 15, because 3 times 5 is 15. So our answer is 95 over 15. Now what kind of a fraction is this? It is an improper fraction. When you have an improper fraction, you are going to divide. You're going to use the box method. You do not divide when all you have to do if all you have to do is simplify. Simplify would be 5 over 15. You only divide if the numerator is bigger than the denominator. So 15 goes outside the box. $95 goes inside the box. Now what I did here wrong, guys, is that I did this just on this paper. You need to get lined paper when you're doing this, okay? This math work. Can 15 fit into 9? No. Because it's too big. Okay, can 15 fit into 95? Yeah. But the question is how many times? Well, 15 plus 15 is 30, just like 15 cents plus 15 cents is 30. So if you add 32 times, that would be 60. So 15 times 4 is 60. If you want to check to see if I'm right, let's go over here. 15 times 4, 5 times 4 is 20, 60. Okay, 60 is still too small, so we have to go higher than 4. 60 plus 15 is 75. 75 plus another 15 would be 90. Okay, so the closest we can get to 95 is 15 times 6. 5 times 6 is 30. 6 times 1 is 6 plus 3 is 9. 90. So it's going to be 6. 15 times 6 is 90. 5 minus 0 is 5. 0. Our 3 important numbers, go ahead and circle them, are 6. Now if this was a 1 right here, you would have to circle all of it. But since it's a 0, you only circle the 6. 5, and 15. Now, if this was a 0, your answer would be just 6. But since there's a remainder, you're going to have a fraction. So our answer is we have 6 wholes, and our numerator is 5. That's our leftover out of 15. Now, here's where I was talking about to simplify it. This can be simplified, guys. If the numerator is smaller than the denominator, you don't divide. You just simplify. What are we going to simplify by? We are going to simplify by 5. 5 times, because 5, the only numbers that can fit into 5 are 5 and 1. So we're going to go with 5, because if we did 1, it would just make the same 5, 15. 5 times what makes 15? 3. So our answer is 6, 1/3. Make sure when you guys are solving your problems, you circle your answers. Then when it comes for me to check the problems, I will be able to understand what your answer is. See, I was right. 6, 1/3 was the answer. All right, that is that one there. We're already at 16 minutes, so I think you can do it. Okay. Let me do 2 with you guys, and I will set you free. Half times 1 and 1/3, and we have the model here. So as we can see, we have 1 whole, because there's a 1 and there's my dog again. Please ignore him. And we have a 1/3. Now this is saying that we have 1 whole, so we need to shade 1 whole. We have 1 whole, so we're going to shade 1 whole. Now this one is saying, this fraction part is saying we have 1 and 1/3. 1/3 should be shaded in. Now this fraction here is saying that we need to shade in half. Not only half, but we need to factor off half of this. We got to cut this rectangle in half. See, we have 1, 2, half. But we also have to do it to this side. Half. 1, 2. But we're not done. It's also telling us we have to shade in 1. So I'm going to just shade like this. Now, how many is there in total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 in total, so that's our denominator. Oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot to shade in this one too, this side. Because we have to shade in half on both sides. Now, how much of the 6 do we have shaded twice? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 over 6. This can be simplified by 2. Remember McGlover? 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. Cross out the like factors. Our answer is 2/3. Now, am I correct? Yes. And as you see, I shaded correctly too. Now, there's that strategy that I showed you earlier. If this helps you and you want to learn more about how to do this, and I'm not busy, come find me. Otherwise, you could do it this way too. This way you might have to get used to at some point. But if you want more of understand it, you can do it this way too. All right, 5th grade, you have to do 3 through 16 still, all right? So have fun, use your notes, and happy mathing. Bye.